Happy Friday, everyone. Today is Friday, April 23rd, that I'm recording this video to talk about the current astrology, the current energy as we head on up through the weekend and reach a full moon on Monday, the 26th, in Scorpio. I am sure that you are likely feeling the buildup of this energy. We all have been feeling this since last week, especially when the Sun and Mercury and Venus we're all meeting up in Taurus. We've still got Uranus in Taurus, demanding that the fixed energy of Taurus changes. And in ways where we can't necessarily make the changes, the universe kind of sometimes steps in and does the changes for us. This is on the personal level. This is also on the societal level. But we've got a lot going on right now in the heavens, and I'm sure you feel it energetically, even if you don't follow astrology. You feel something. You feel the energy. We all feel the energy. We are energy. So without going on that whole tangent of energy and intuition and all of that, I will just say that yes, we are in Taurus season. The sun has moved into the earth sign of Taurus, the fixed earth sign of Taurus, where we kind of stabilize and dig our cleats in, for better or worse. And we look forward to what we want to grow and plant and bring in for our futures. And right now, the sun is in Taurus, Mercury's in Taurus, Venus is in Taurus, where Venus loves to be because it's its natural home, it's its ruler, it's in its domicile, so it loves to be there. It's familiar and comfortable. And also, then we've got Saturn, which is in Aquarius and is squaring all of our Taurus planets right now. And the theme of 2021 is Saturn square Uranus. It's going to hit exact 3 times this year. It already has once. It's going to do it again in June and then again in December. But it's still the overall energy of the year, which is restriction versus change. Change that's going to happen, and will be liberating ultimately, but will take time because it is structural. That's Saturn. Saturn's structure, and Uranus is liberation and breakthrough. And so this is an energy that we're going to be under all of 2021 and some of 2022. And so it does affect all of us personally in different ways, depending on our own birth chart and what we've got going on. And then also collectively, it's affecting all of us. As we can see, everything is changing. The only constant is change right now. And so what's significant about this full moon that's coming up, it's in Scorpio. Scorpio is the opposite sign of Taurus. So every time we have a full moon, the sun and the moon are opposing each other, and which means that, emotionally we are in opposition because we are in this constant tug of war between head and heart, what we want and what we value versus what we need and what maybe is or is not the best for us, and how are we going to integrate all of this energy. And it can produce anxiety. It can produce feelings of confusion and low self-worth. And there's also this sense of, because it is a Scorpio full moon, Scorpio is ruled by Pluto. The modern day ruler of Scorpio is Pluto, but the traditional ruler of Scorpio is Mars. So either way, there's an intensity with the sign of Scorpio. For better or worse, Scorpio is the investigator of the zodiac. Scorpio energy is deep and it's cathartic and it's transformative. And, think about everything that Scorpio represents and Pluto, the planet, represents. It's about deconstruction. It's about reconstruction. It's about death and rebirth, metaphorically and physically. It's about restructuring the old paradigms that are no longer working, which is ultimately a good thing. But the thing about this energy is that it doesn't always feel comfortable when Pluto is involved, because Scorpio is, like I said, ruled by Pluto, and Pluto doesn't let up. Pluto is like that pulse underneath the surface that just doesn't go away. And you can push it away and push it away and push it away, but ultimately it does come up. And I'm mentioning this because the day after the full moon in Scorpio, on the 27th, Pluto, Scorpio's ruling planet, is going to station retrograde until October 6th. So when we're going into a Pluto retrograde, this is demanding that our psychological junk that we might want to keep buried because it's easier. Let's face it, it's not always easy. It's not easy to face the things that are obsessions, our compulsions, the things that we do in private and in secret, because Pluto is secret, the things that hold us back, our fears, our desires, all of that falls under Pluto energy, Scorpio energy. And so with Pluto going retrograde right at the heels of the full moon, this is all going to be illuminated. Our stuff, our psychological stuff, because Pluto's very psychological, ruling the 8th house in astrology, Scorpio and Pluto. It's all about, like I said, death and rebirth. It's also taxes, it's inheritances, it's the deep stuff of life. It's the afterlife. You may find that at this time your psychic senses are really, really heightened, even to the point where you feel like if you're, you could connect with spirit. If you're somebody who connects to the other side, to the afterlife, it will be more enhanced at this time with this Scorpio energy, especially a full moon, because full moons enhance our intuition regardless. And Scorpio does that as well as a water sign. So all of that together just screams, pay attention to what your soul is trying to say to you at this time, because it will be speaking, whether it's through, obsessive thinking about something or someone, or, compulsions that are coming up. If you're feeling neurotic and anxious, there's a reason for that. Look into that, go deep, and ask yourself those really difficult questions, because you likely already know why and what and how is trying to come up to be purged and ultimately healed, so that you can resurrect and you can be reborn into your best self, into your most authentic version of who you are today. Not who you were 5 years ago, but who you are today. And I feel like all of us on some level are being called to level up in our life, in our lives, on our journey here, own things, face things, change things. It's inevitable. And, when we resist, it persists, right? So that's what this full moon energy is all about. This astrology right now is very indicative of a lot of change. And often it can come in and not be the way you thought it was going to be, but it's exactly the way you needed it to be to move you forward. So don't attach yourself to how things are going to manifest right now. Just trust that the information that you need is going to come through and come in when it's meant to. And just so I don't get the dates wrong here and what I want to say, today on the 23rd, also what's important is that Mars has been in Gemini, our planet of action, our fighting planet. It's our drive, our energy. Mars has moved into Cancer, the sign of Cancer today, April 23rd, and will remain there until June 11th, okay? So that's important for a number of reasons. Like I said, Mars is our fighter. He's our fighting planet. And when he moves into Cancer, Cancer's water. And Cancer is moody because Cancer is ruled by the moon. And the moon changes signs every 2.5 days. So our moods typically change every couple of days with the energy of the moon, whatever sign the moon is in. And if you are a Cancer or you have placements in Cancer, you'll resonate with that. You will feel like you're probably more moody than the average bear, again, for better or worse. So with Mars in Cancer now, it's like, Cancer is a cardinal sign. So Cancer does change things and Cancer does make moves, okay? But it can be wishy-washy. It can feel highly emotional and highly sensitive. But the beautiful thing about Mars in Cancer is that it wants us to assert ourselves and get us where we need to be and get us where we need to go. So you'll probably be feeling a little bit of clarity surrounding the moves you need to make in your life. So this is going to feel a lot more clear mentally than we've probably been feeling the past 6 weeks. If you've already felt that shift, this is likely why. So again, keep that in mind, that our fighting planet has moved into Cancer. And also, because Cancer is the sign of the home and our foundation, that theme could be very prevalent while Mars is in Cancer. The home life, what makes us happy, what makes us feel secure and safe. And remember, home is not always a physical place of where you live. It's also internal, right? It's where we reside. And then on Venus and Uranus have also been together. So, Venus is what we love and how we love and what we find pleasing. And Venus is in Taurus, and Venus loves to be in Taurus. So we could be getting very clear on that and be feeling really good perhaps. And if you're not, Uranus meeting up with Venus could bring in some kind of an electrifying change or an epiphany or a person or a situation that could be really good for you. But you have to be willing to go with the flow because it's fast. So this is a fast energy. So anything under Venus, Uranus typically happens quickly. And we're going to be under that energy, today, most of tomorrow. And then tomorrow, Mercury and Uranus will meet up. And that's going to be really great for insight and clarity and creative work, because Mercury is the mind and Uranus is insights and epiphanies. So with those two coming in together, it could be a great day for some really quick ideas. Make sure you have your notepad with you or your voice recorder, so that if you are a writer or any kind of profession that you're in, when you get these flashes of inspiration that Uranus is known for, you'll be able to articulate and communicate them, whether through written form or verbal form. It may feel a little bit easier this weekend. Then on the 25th, Mercury and Venus will meet up. That's the mind and the heart getting together. That's also really sweet. They're talking nicely to each other. This could be a day for some nice conversations with friends, family, anyone that you need to have a conversation with that's not leaning towards a combative nature, because let's not forget, we do have this intense full moon in the works here, and that will peak on Monday. So we want to be conscious, right? Because again, with Scorpio, it's deep, it's intense, it's a pulse, Pluto, and there could be some anger that comes up as well. Now, again, the full moons affect us all differently, and each one affects everyone differently because we all have our own birth chart. We all have our own planetary placements that may or may not feel a specific transit like the way someone else will feel a specific transit, okay? So if you're a fixed sign, which would be Taurus, Taurus, Leo, Aquarius, Scorpio. Those are the 4 fixed signs. Any of those signs, if you've got a sun if you're a sun sign of any of those 4, or your moon falls in one of those signs, or your ascendant, your rising sign, or even your north node, you will likely be really feeling this energy, okay? For better or worse. Very emotional, probably highly sensitive to everything around you, even physically. You might be feeling everything in your body, having trouble sleeping. I'm going to emphasize the irritability factor because that seems to be very pronounced right now with the fixed energy. So again, don't be a loggerhead. And if you have someone else in your life that's of the same similar energy to you, just, be mindful that you could do this. So you just try to stay in your lane as much as possible. But don't ignore issues. That's important. Because again, whatever's coming up right now is so important to look at and unpack it. Because this is Pluto, right? Pluto's about to go retrograde. So it's highlighting what needs to be unpacked and unearthed from our psychological suitcase so that we can move forward in our lives on our journey here. Whether that's to help others, help ourselves, both, as a society, as the collective, we need to stick together right now. There's so much going on. And we're all here together. We're all in this together, in this life together. And then the full moon happens. And the full moon that's the most important piece. I came on to talk about that, and I started babbling about everything else. So this full moon is at 7 degrees, 6 minutes of Scorpio. Takes place 11:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Monday, April 26th. And the most significant aspects that this full moon is making is that it's opposite Uranus, because Uranus is in Taurus, and is also trining Mars. So, opposite Uranus, I see that as something positive because, again, it's flashes of insight, flashes of knowledge, flashes of that's where I need to go, this is where I need to be. And so it could work really well right now. The Uranus, the sun-moon opposition here, Uranus and the moon opposing each other. So pay attention to everything that comes in and out, and especially when they come in completely out of left field. Those are what you want to pay attention to even more so. Trining Mars gives us initiative and drive and action, but again, we're dealing with water energy because Mars is now in Cancer and the moon is in Scorpio. So it may feel private, it may feel very deep and emotional, but you'll feel it nonetheless, and it could be very helpful. So the trines help us out, they're gifts. Now, the challenging piece of all of this, and maybe why it feels so intense, if that's how you're feeling, I know that's definitely how I'm feeling, it feels so intense because we're dealing with Saturn. Because again, Saturn is in Aquarius, squaring all of the Taurus planets and saying, oh, you want change? That's great, but not yet. And it's important to remember the not yet piece because it doesn't mean that it will be blocked, because sometimes Saturn does block us and sometimes he will block us for our own benefit or until we learn what we need to learn and so we can move forward. But what's happening now is that he's restricting us a little bit. So it's restrictive change. So some change may happen, and for everyone that's going to be different, right? In some form or fashion. So some change may happen, but it may take a different form, a different direction, a different turn, but honor it, acknowledge it, respect it for what it is, because Saturn strives to teach us. He's the teacher, and he takes his time. Keyword with Saturn, time. So again, he's squaring all of these planets that are in Taurus right now, which is the Sun, Mercury, and Venus. And Saturn wants us to change the structures when the time is right. When we've crossed all of our T's and dotted all of our I's and we've done our work and we're getting the bigger picture and we've kind of got the lesson and we're understanding more of why something had to happen or if something's going to happen or why it can't. It's really about giving us the dose of reality, and then the changes can take place. So this is why it's almost like a holding pattern. There could be aggravation and irritation around this full moon, but it's going to be very liberating, very eye-opening, extremely deep and cathartic for those that are willing to go down that path right now. With Pluto about to station retrograde, we're really feeling the heat, guys. It's like, you know, I'm sure that many of you are feeling like this chomping at the bit, like something needs to change and you want to break out of an ice cave, okay? That, you know, honor that. Look at why, look at where, and look at how. I always talk about journaling because it's super helpful, because we often forget where we're at and the energy passes, and then 2 weeks from now you'll go back and look at that and say, oh my gosh. You know, and if you track the moon cycles, it's even more fascinating. So anyway, I'll stop this video now because I'm completely going off on a tangent. But I'm just going to pull a card for this full moon weekend energy, right? And it's from my moon oracle deck. And remember, guys, the planets have soul. They move in the sky, therefore they move our soul. Think about it that way. It's not bullshit. I'm sure if you're watching this, you know that it's not. But I know a lot of times we underestimate the power of the planets and the power that they have and the beauty that they have. And it's just, you know, I guess maybe yesterday, because yesterday was Earth Day, or the 22nd was Earth Day, and I'm a Taurus myself, I'm really feeling like the connectedness with the Earth right now, the Earth energy and the planets. And I mean, I always feel the planetary, but more so now. All right, let's get a card for the full moon in Scorpio. Sceptry, number 14. So you probably can't see this, but on the bottom is the planetary glyph for Saturn and then Venus, which is interesting because, like I said, we're under a lot of Saturn. The planets are speaking to Saturn right now, and Venus is in Taurus. So Saturn and Venus, you know, in traditional astrology, a lot of times you'll hear that Saturn and Venus don't really go together. And I disagree with that because, again, Saturn just wants things to be correct and Venus just wants love. So when you put these two together, it's like, okay, you can have that, but it's gotta what's that gonna look like? What's that gonna feel like? And is it what's supposed to be? Is this kosher? Is this right? Is this true? Then yeah, then you can potentially have what it is that you're seeking. But again, because it's Saturn, it's going to restrict us and maybe hold us back a little bit until the time is right, like the boomerang effect. I actually don't really ever use these cards, so I think it might be worth it to read the message from the book for this card, number 14. Ruled by Saturn and Venus, a classical figure stands upon a flat-topped pyramid, itself containing 2 towers. On either side of the pyramid, 2 trees grow and twine. The figure carries a crystal orb in one hand and a scepter in the other, symbols of authority and occult power. Behind the figure, a luminous full moon glows. Okay, so luminous full moon glowing. The occult, Scorpio, Pluto, hello, the occult. Symbols of authority, Saturn, authority. Pluto is structure. So this is all just speaking to basically everything I just said. The card was just a little added, nonsense. But I hope that this made sense. I know that that was a lot, but we've got a lot going on. So if you're feeling like a ping pong ball, you may want to look at your chart and see what's going on there with your transits, because remember, the planets are constantly moving. They're transitory. Therefore, so is the energy. Therefore, what goes on in your life could feel, better or worse under certain energies. So you may be feeling great right now, maybe feeling exhausted. Check in with yourself, drop into the soul, be prepared to go deep the next 6 months while Pluto's retrograde. He's asking all of us to do so. I'm probably going to do another video on the Pluto retrograde because Pluto is generational. However, it hits everyone's chart differently depending on your exact moment of birth and all of that. So the way it plays out in your life will be different in the way that it plays out in mine, and so on and so forth. And when Pluto makes aspects to your personal planets, especially if it's your sun, your moon, your ascendant, that tells a whole different story about Pluto and Pluto retrograde and how it could affect you and the potential for tremendous growth and rebirth. But again, I will always go back to what one of my teachers said to me many years ago about Pluto. Pluto is like having surgery without anesthesia because it's this pulse and you're constantly aware of it and it's painful. But when you come out the other side of it, you're reborn and you're a much more beautiful, authentic, raw version of yourself, if that's possible. So I hope that this helps you. I will definitely do a Pluto retrograde video and probably readings for each sign because I'm feeling that that's necessary at this time. I've been cocooning and hermiting myself, and I'm coming out of that now, so I'm ready to do more collective reads. So take really good care of yourselves, guys. My links are below, lisasalvatore.com. Feel free to reach out, subscribe to my YouTube channel, shoot me an email, sign up for my newsletter, all that good stuff. Talk to you soon. Bye.